Wonderful. Okay, so what I would love to do right now is just go around the room. And if you guys could introduce yourselves, tell me where you're here from, how you use Divi, and how long you've been using Divi. So we'll go ahead and start with Bruce. I will go ahead and announce each of you just so that I can go around my screen and I don't miss anyone. So if you want to kick it off, Bruce, you're up.
Sure. Bruce McIntosh. The site that I manage is the Ontario Autism Coalition. We've been using Divi, I think, somewhere between 6 and 7 years now. I wouldn't say that I've gotten terribly deep into it. The site and the theme were originally set up by someone else, so I've just sort of taken it over. You know, it landed in my lap. I really do want to do some of the, excuse me, some of the more cool things that I have seen others do. My concern at the moment, and the reason this really got my attention, was mobile.
Yes.
Because I know that we have some problems in that area. I've been getting messages from other software saying that, you know, it's not loading as fast on mobile as it should. So I'm really here to absorb whatever you can bequeath to me.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. And where are you? What city are you from, I guess? Did I miss that?
Mississauga at the
You're
moment.
In Mississauga. Wonderful. I'm actually in Mississauga myself as well. Okay.
Howdy, neighbor.
Yes. So let's go over to Naomi. If you want to, again, introduce for everyone who's just coming in, introduce yourself, tell us how you use Divi, how long you've been using Divi, and what city you're visiting from. Oh, and you're on mute. Just unmute yourself there.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm Naomi Moon, and I have been doing WordPress websites for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. I've been doing Divi sites for maybe 3 or 4. I don't use them for all of my sites because a lot of my sites I do and turn over to a client, and Divi's kind of hard for beginners. But when it's my site and I get to control it, then I do it with Divi because it's a ton of fun.
Yes.
And it keeps getting better and better. So, and I'm in Denver.
You're in Denver. Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome. Okay, so let's go on to Michelle.
Hello, I'm Michelle. I'm from the future. I'm in Sydney, Australia. It's already Thursday here.
Wonderful.
And my background was in analytics, and I sort of got in the back end where I started doing Google Ads, and I moved on to managing SEO, with managing people's sites, and then I started web design. So I love all things related to conversion improvement and optimizing of sites. I've built maybe 8 Divi sites, and so I offer that as one of a service now. So I work for myself.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Brenda.
Yeah. Hi. It's such a small world. I just have to say, I don't know, Bruce, if you recognize my name, but I sure recognize yours. And it's so weird. Bruce does amazing work in the world of autism, and that's actually it's just so funny because we live really close together, and it's a small community, but who would think we'd meet over something so different. But so in my first life, I was in corporate communications, but that was, as you can see from the gray hair, that was before, you know, that's actually how I kind of lost my business, because I was doing mostly print brokering, working with designers and so forth. And, you know, but I also have a severely autistic child. So I ended up, it was just good for me to totally change careers, and I managed my husband's office. But on the side, about 12 years ago, I had a website called Autism Beacon. And it was really just something I wanted to do to help other parents. But to be honest, it was a money losing proposition because I had to hire, I lost so much money on it because I had to hire programmers. Mm-hmm. And you know, I just had to shut it down because I just couldn't do things myself. And then, so I've decided just sort of, if my goal is to break even this time, and do everything myself, or just, people actually have been super nice about helping me with things so that I can offer printables and things like that. So it's coming along very slowly because I have to work full time, look after my son, sue the government, all those kinds of fun things that I do in my life for autism discrimination and so forth and so on, as Bruce knows all too well. So in my spare time, I'm very new to the only websites I've really created are basic Google sites, and I was very proud of myself for doing that. So I'm probably the newest one here, but I'm coming along, but it's slow. And I'm in Ancaster, Ontario, so Hamilton.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let's move over to, we already heard from Michelle. So Marissa, if Marissa's available to come on camera or feels comfortable coming on camera, we'd love to hear more from you. No, I think she was putting her kids.
Sorry,
to
guys.
bed.
I will jump on voice.
Okay.
I just put in the chat that I can't talk tonight just because I'm in the middle of bedtime. Usually sometimes these things start a little later. So just tonight doesn't work as well, but I still want to listen in. So, and thank you for starting the group again.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Are you local, Marissa, real quick?
I am just north of Toronto, Newmarket.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, and let's go ahead and move over to Jack.
Hi, I'm a Toronto-based user in WordPress for about 10 years and have about 30 sites under management. And I switch between Elementor, Divi, and Thrive, and Beaver Builder. These are my favorite theme builders. And it's a very contentious marketplace right now, with each one sort of one-upping, and so you have to keep up with what's going on. And I'm particularly interested because Divi has announced that they are going to do a lot of back-end work on the product with fewer new features and more making the existing features more functional. I'm very interested in how that's turning out.
Yes, lots of great things coming with Divi. I'm excited to see all of the changes that come our way. So thank you so much, everybody. I know we lost, I think we lost Rex, but maybe he'll come back on. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, again, I'm just super excited to be starting this Divi group. I honestly haven't been able to attend many meetups, so bear with me as I learn how to host the meetup groups and to use the correspondence and getting you those meeting links, and we'll make sure that every meeting just keeps getting better. Really today is just talking more about the mobile features of Divi, and for this particular meeting, keeping it relatively simple. I just want to walk you through a couple things, which I will share my screen shortly and take you through a few items that I found very useful when I was starting my journey with Divi and going mobile. And then if you have any questions, feel free to ask me as we go along. I will do my best to answer them. Like I said, I've been using Divi for a few years. I feel I've got a lot to learn from you guys, and I know you're here to learn from me too. So it'll go both ways. So if I don't have an answer, we'll definitely do some research together, or we can find the answer for our next meetup. So let's go ahead, I guess, and we'll get started. So again, I'm going to share my screen here. Share screen one. Okay, so can you see Creative Design Agency on my screen? Am I sharing the right screen? Thumbs up if that's correct. Yes. Good. Okay. So let me just grab my, and again, so if you have any questions, let me know. One of the simple things that I found is, first of all, I just downloaded these layouts off of the Divi layout library. So we'll just work with what we've got today. But one of the things I know that I love to use is blurbs. And so this one particular section here is something that we all make. And if I just hop over to the visual builder, just it'll be easier for me to show what I'm saying as I go along if I can switch between the different views. So we all know we've got the menu here at the bottom, and we can toggle here on the left between the different mobile views. So if I scroll down to my blurb section and I go into my tablet view, you'll see here after I go up to the third row, there's additional spacing here. So it's just small little details that, you know, it doesn't look as pretty when you go on mobile. So again, I'm just going to show you a few things of how I would fix things on mobile so you can get a better understanding of how to make these types of changes. And in my opinion, we'll just go through a few things that get harder or more difficult or more helpful as we go along. So if you're going into your settings, when you go, I'm going to go into adjusting the spacing. So you know when you're going into the padding, if you click on this icon here, this is where you can actually change site settings, whether you want to be on desktop, tablet view, or on the phone. And just a simple fix here was just adding that 0 padding to the row to make that spacing go away. So if I remove that here, again, there's the big gap. And if I want that to be consistent, it's just a matter of removing that padding that was there and moving on. So that's just one of the many things that we can do with the mobile settings. All of the module settings within here, you will hover over this area. And again, you can modify things based on the mobile device that you're using. And
Susie,
yeah,
why didn't it say, shouldn't it have had a number there? Because like then it would have been more intuitive, but that has to be 0. So why was it, isn't that frustrating that it was blank? Because then I would have seen, oh yeah, that has
Yeah,
to
there's
be
nothing
0.
there.
So there's a space there.
yep.
That's
So
kind of
the-
glitchy, right?
Yeah, so the way things work with Divi is there are a lot of defaults, I'll say. So like anytime you do a paragraph, there's going to be padding under the paragraphs. And so Divi has a lot of default settings that we don't necessarily see in the module itself. And so that's why today I just want to kind of take you through some of the things that I see. One of the things that you'll want to learn how to do is use the inspector. So let's just go ahead and we'll take this off.
So what you're saying is blank does not equal 0.
Blank does not equal 0 when
That's
you're in
what I have
Divi.
to know. Yeah.
Yes, that is
Okay.
very important question, something very good to know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're not sure. It could be that it's a margin, it could be padding, you may not know, right? And are you familiar, Brenda, with going in and inspecting a page to go into CSS, or is that a little above your comfort?
Yes, I have done that with their tech support, and then they give me step by step.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, so that's okay. So I won't go into that too much detail now, but again, this is just, I wanted to show some of the things that I saw over and over again that I found I was having to repeat. And I just wanted to share those types of things with you guys here today. So again, I know in this particular one, adding that 0 margin when you're using multiple rows in this type of instance. Okay, so that's just one of the many things that we can do. Again, another what I consider to be more of a basic scale. I'm just going to scroll down to one of these larger headings. Let's say this one here. So in this particular model, they have used the heading 2, and they've set it for 42 pixels. I went ahead, so again, I'm just going to turn this off for now. But if I leave it like this and I show on a tablet, it looks really large. If I show on the phone, sorry, I've got to scroll down. It still looks great. Don't get me wrong. I like it. Personal opinion when it comes to font sizing. But again, just to show you for this particular module, if I wanted to change that, again, you're going to hover over here and you're going to change it per device. So I prefer, sorry, and it always jumps to the top. If anyone knows how to make it stop jumping to the top, I'd love to know. But I find whenever I switch between the views, it takes me back to the top. Okay. So again, it was at 42, and I just like to kind of play around with it till I think it looks pleasing. So I would maybe go to 36, and then again on the mobile, it was at 42, which I think was not so nice. So again, I'm just kind of playing around. There's no mathematical formula that I use, but you can change it on a module basis, right? So that text size that I changed is literally only going to change this module right here. Now, one thing that I just remembered or used was if you go in, sorry, I just got something in the chat here. Your response time is pretty fast. I'm not quite sure what you're asking there, Jack. I'm sorry. Edit response times problems. I'm not quite sure if my computer connection is just faster or not. I do get pretty fast response times when I'm using the builder here. I think that may answer your question. If not, please come off mute and you're welcome to ask the question if you'd like. But you can also, if you wanted to, let's say on your H2 headings, change your font size everywhere across the site based on those 3 sizes. You could actually edit the default preset. So if you're hovering over the default here and edit, it will change to gray, and anything that you change here will actually change the default within all text modules on that site. So if I were to change H2 here to always be 42, let's say 38, I don't remember what the numbers were, 32, that would actually change. And every time I added a new text module on that page, that's what it would default to. So just wanted to let you know that you can change it on an individual module level or across all modules as well.
So I'm sorry, you said on that page, but is it, you just change it for the whole site, right? Or did you
Yes,
just?
for the whole site.
Okay, that's
Yeah, so-
cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell
And-
me again where you did, just one more time, where did you
Yeah,
go to
of
do that
course.
again?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm in my text module,
Right.
and right now you can see there's a preset, and it's just
Oh.
using the default.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I want to change
Yeah,
all the
that's where it
default,
was.
like every
Okay.
single text module that's using the default preset,
Yeah.
hover over here and edit.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Now, with that being said, if you have custom stuff that you wanted to create, you can create your own preset. And
Yeah.
obviously, I've brought in this layout that brought in its own presets. And that way you can just create it once, assign it to multiple different modules, right? And then anytime you edit that preset, it will also edit every single preset that's using it, correct?
Cool.
Okay. Kind of like paragraph styles in Word and that kind of concept. Okay. So that's just using the responsiveness within the modules, right? So again, I'm just gonna go across here, and not all elements will have that, but you'll see it here. So anytime you hover and you have that option, you can change it based on Divi's default responsive queries, okay? Okay, so I'm just gonna get out of this one. So again, that was just more of a basic couple things there to get your minds thinking. Another, I don't want to say issue, but another thing that I find when we're designing, again, this is just another layout that was chosen, but we often use sections that have a photo and a paragraph of text, right? And you scroll down and then you see, oh, a paragraph of text and a photo. And on desktop, it looks nice with that contrast, right? If we go back and forth. But, and I'm just going to go into my visual builder here and show you a couple things with that section. Scroll down. So again, if I'm looking at my mobile view, I've got the lovely photo with my text. And then of course, it's going to show my text and then my photo. If I want to reverse that, right, I want to have that photo first when it comes to your mobile views. Super simple. I'm going to go ahead and share the resources of where I found these tips. just a great thing to reference for you guys. So this one particular is using the flex box. I'm going to throw it in the chat if that's helpful and you guys want to, sorry, let me just grab that. This is for the next one that we're going to be doing. But basically it's really simple to reverse the order. So we're looking at the row. We're going to go into the advanced settings, custom CSS. And this is literally copy and pasting 2 lines of code into this main element here. Okay. So I just want to, before I do it, I want you to see the second heading here, and then the photo is here. And once I add this code, you saw that flip. Okay. And what it's doing is it's literally reversing the columns. And that works obviously when you've got, 2 and you're just flipping them, or 4 would go backwards, right? So you're just reversing the columns. That one has been super helpful for me. Again, for these type of use cases, if you want to go back and forth.
Can you show me really quickly now that second heading goes here? So is that to put some space there, you would put some padding on the heading or on the column?
Yeah, so you've got choices. I personally would just throw some on the image itself. So what I like to do is I like to build in desktop view. A lot of my client websites prefer desktop view, like their clients, most of them are on desktop. And then I would build for mobile. That's my personal style. Other people have their own. But yeah, and then you can go in here. So if I'm going into the image, I'm going to go under design, I'm going to the spacing. So let's say I want to put some margin underneath that. I prefer margin over padding in this case. I don't know if anyone has a different preference or not. But again, I would just press this button here. So now I'm only changing the margin on the tablet view. Okay, so right now, let's say I'm going to throw in some 50. And you can play around with this, right?
And then does it automatically change it for the phone to the same?
It does. So whatever you do on the left will default to the right. So if I were to do 60 on the desktop, it would default to the tablet, and then it would default to the phone. So if you go over here now in the phone, it's grayed out because it's copying from the one above it. Okay. So I can manually override that. So if I go back up and say, oh, on phone, I only want 20 pixels, or maybe I want more, whatever your preference is. So yes, it will take the default from the higher, like from the larger screen size. Yeah. Okay. But if I go over here to phone, it's still the, it's still that default. Okay.
Wow. Another way to do it would be to hide one and show, but this is so much faster and easier, right?
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention, because this is how we learn, trial and error. I didn't press this button, so it actually did it on the desktop version. I don't want it there. I only want it in my mobile. I apologize, but that's how we learn. So making sure that that custom CSS gets put on the mobile responsive that you want it to go. Okay. So any questions with that reverse columns? We're good there. Okay. So the next section I want to show you is this 4-panel. Again, I didn't make it, but I want to show you that you can kind of apply these things to different scenarios. So when we're looking at these 4 boxes here, they look cool. Branding, illustration, experience, and motion. But what I don't like is when I go to the tablet view, the 2 black are beside each other. I don't think it looks good, my personal opinion. So in looking at these, I can say, okay, they don't specifically have to be in that order, right? They're just features or, whatever it happens to be. So I put a note to myself, just so when I'm doing this with you, I want illustration to go first, and then I want branding to go second. And that will make my 2 blacks contrast like on diagonal. You know what I mean? So in this particular case, I don't want to reverse the order. but I want to manually control the order, okay? And for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this, my source, in the chat. This particular one, again, super easy fix. You're actually gonna go into that custom CSS for the column and give the order a number. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's go slowly. So I'm going into the row settings, and here's my 4 columns, right? So column 1, just go up here a little bit. Column 1 is for branding. Column 2 would be illustration, like you follow me here. So I actually want column 1 on mobile to be number 2, right? That's what I just did that for myself as my reminder. So I'm going to go into the column settings here under advanced, custom CSS, and we're going to make sure we put it under the actual tablet version. And here we're actually just putting order 2. Okay. And so if I scroll back down, again, if anyone knows how to make it stop doing that, you let me know. I'm going to put that there. Now it did move it to the very end. It's because I haven't put an order for all my other columns. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one. So I've done that one. So column 2, I actually want it to be order 1. So if I go back here, and if I'm going too fast, please let me know, but I'm just trying to give you an overview so you guys can see. But again, you can always refer to the website that I've linked where I've got this information from. So again, so I want this one to be order number 1. And then this one 3. I still want this one to be 3. So that is 3. And number 4, just to show you here, this is going to be 4. Okay, so they're still down here. It's still looking great. Didn't break anything there. But as you can see now, order 1 on mobile, order 2, order 3, order 4. And even when I go to the phone where it's going to jump into just 1, here I have it. Order 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, if I actually wanted to on the phone, make the black one go second, like I could change the order on the phone however I wanted. So again, without super long lines of coding, you can change the order of where your columns are stacking once you get on mobile. Any questions with that section?
Sorry, just where are these? I'm looking in chat. Sorry if I'm being daft.
No, that's okay. I
Here's-
apologize. Let me see here. I was sending it in a direct message to somebody by mistake. So.
Oh, okay. Not me. Phew.
Yeah, no, it wasn't you.
No, good. Yeah, because I want to copy these. That's great.
Yeah. So this one here, the flex
Oh,
box,
perfect.
that was
Okay.
the first one. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
And this one here is when you have multiple columns. And again, this could be, you could have 5 columns, 6 columns, as long as you're telling the code what order you want those columns to be in. That's what you can do there. Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Susie.
Yes.
It's Michelle. Can you share how you organize all your CS code snippets? Like, what's your best practice to do that? Because mine are all over the place.
So I actually have, I'm a little all over the place myself too. However, I do have a notepad document that I keep a lot of things in that I reuse often. And I have a lot of bookmark sites where I organize, especially for Divi. I bookmark the tutorials that I find, like these ones that I'm sharing with you guys today, because I tried at one point to keep a document of everything, but I found sometimes it was easier to just Google it again and find it. I love Googling things when I have questions. I will say this, it's one of the things I love about the Divi community is if you have a question or you don't know how to do something and you Google it, there's an answer, there's a tutorial, there is someone out there who has solved the problem and is giving the answers for free 90% of the time. The other 10%, and we'll talk about this next week when we talk about Divi resources, but I have Facebook groups that I belong to and I reach out for help because, you know, I'm a solo entrepreneur. I don't have a group of people that I talk to at the office. But sorry, to answer your question, Michelle, mostly Notepad for things that I do use over and over again. Okay.
Thank
I
you.
use Evernote because this stuff is great. And I
Yeah.
have, so it goes in Safari and then I find it like now I just went to the website and then use the Evernote clipper and it gives it a descriptive headline. And then I go back to there because I have no memory. So I love
Nice.
Evernote.
I love that. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna, this is what I'm doing tonight. So I'm just gonna go show you a couple more items. Trying not to get too specific, but overview. So right now I just want to talk about menus. So there's a couple use cases. So if you look at this menu I have here, this is like something you'd see at the bottom of your footer or, you know, wherever you want to use it on your website, right? So if I show you the mobile view, it turns it into a hamburger, right? That's Divi's default. It's going, oh, that's a menu. You want a hamburger menu. And I say, no, I don't want a hamburger menu. I actually want to leave it alone, okay? And for this one, I'm going to throw this in the chat. PI Creative. I love him and his tutorials, super helpful. So for this particular one, we need to give this menu a class, okay? So I went ahead and called my class Stay Open Mobile Menu because I like to remember what my coding is. You can do your classes, anything you want, any code you want. I try to make it something that makes sense to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and have this class here. And that's all I have to do on this page. So I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to jump over to my customizer. Let me just get out of here so I can show you where I'm going if you're not sure how I got here. Okay, so just bear with me a moment. When you do need to put custom CSS into your Divi site, there are multiple options. Different people have their preferences. For myself, I go ahead and go into the theme customizer. So again, if you're ever adding custom CSS code, you can go here to the customizer. We'll get this to open up for us. And additional CSS down here. And I went ahead and hid it for now, but just for you guys to see, I'm just gonna take this out for now. Okay, so this is the custom code that I literally copied and pasted from the site that I shared with you. I just changed the name of it. Basically, what we're getting into here is media queries. So we can have custom CSS, which you guys are familiar with. That's the coding that tells your browser how to view things. And this particular one is saying media with a max width, right? So anything that goes up to 980 in pixels, okay? We want it to force and show us the main menu, not the mobile menu, okay? So I just want to go in here and say this ET mobile nav menu, not that you guys really care and you don't have to know this, I just want you to have a quick understanding. This is where we're saying that navigation, the mobile navigation menu is being turned off. It's display none. And we're taking the regular menu and we're actually displaying it. So typically this would be reversed, right? Typically on a mobile, you'd see the mobile menu and hide the main menu, okay? So again, we're just copying and pasting this code from the site I gave you. I'm gonna go ahead and publish this.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
If you're, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think you need the media query because you're just saying you never want the mobile menu to show up.
Yes, that is probably true. Let me see here. Hold on. Show desktop menu info. You want to try it?
Well, I'm just thinking, I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking because if you're doing up to max width and above 980, you pick 980 because that's probably where Divi cuts it off, right?
Yeah, that's probably where they do the switch. So if I just left it.
So if you
I
took
think
that
you're
off,
absolutely
it
right.
might still, I don't know.
You know what? This is what I love about this is, let's take it off first and see if it works. And if not, we'll just put it back.
Is this one from PA Creative? I love him too.
Yes, just as a side note, he's going to be joining us. He's my guest speaker in May.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
A
So-
celebrity.
Yeah, I got lucky. We got lucky. Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm just gonna exit out of here. As I say that, I'm gonna refresh this and see if that does work. Oh, shoot, hold on. I've got people in the waiting room, you guys. How do I view my waiting room? Let me let people in. I apologize. Okay. So now if we go back down here, does it work? I think you're absolutely right. We did not need a media query, so thank you for that, Naomi. But
Wait,
now,
but you haven't shown it on the smaller.
let's go. Ta-da!
Yay.
Yay! Okay, awesome. So you're right, because it's already the default there. So again, so there's some code if you want to keep, you want that hamburger menu to go away. That's the code that you would use. And
And can you use it? Would you use a media query if you wanted to use just a completely different menu? Can you do that?
By a different, like a.
Well, like instead of showing that menu when it's less than
Oh.
980, you'd show something else.
That I don't believe you can do with just CSS through there.
Okay.
But there are times where, and I was going to show an example of this, but I didn't. But I'm going to kind of show you what I mean here. So sometimes, for example, you have a really long header menu like this one. And if I go ahead and say, I want to look at the iPad screen. Sorry, I'm going to move this out of the way. See how it goes on to 2 lines? So right now, if I keep moving it, once it gets to this point, it'll go into the hamburger menu. But if someone has a tablet and they're looking at it landscape, it's going to look crappy. So you could use a media query to say, once it gets to this many pixels, you know, go to the hamburger menu, right? So is for anyone who, let me just bring this over here.
Sorry, Susie, how did you work out, how did you change it to that specific laptop? Are you using Chrome or?
I am using Chrome.
Right.
And there is an extension. Sorry, let me see if I can get here. So there's an extension called Window Resizer.
Oh, that's handy, isn't
It
it?
is very handy. So you can switch between different desktop views.
Because I've been using the inspector tool to switch, but
Yeah, you
That's
can use
quite-
that too. But
yeah.
this one is quite handy because you can literally just quickly snap in between. Or you can even manually type in, or I mean, we all know we can just resize like this, which is another way to test out your codes.
That is way better than the one I've been using because I keep like dragging the window and then trying to measure it with this page ruler thing. And I love
I'm
this.
guilty. I've done a page screen and then I throw it in Photoshop and measure it. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
been
that
there.
was going to be my next question. How is there an easy way to measure the size of something?
There, you know, I used to have another extension and I lost it. There was a ruler where I could actually click my extension and then click and drag and I could measure, but I don't know if it was discontinued and I haven't been able to get it back. So if anyone knows of one.
I have one, but it's kind of crummy. It's, let me see what
Yeah.
it's called. Page ruler.
Page ruler. Yeah, that's what, something like mine. So again, there
Yeah.
are so many different extensions out there to help with this type of thing. So definitely, if you find something, please share. One thing I'm going to share here is another document that I have, and I believe I got this from PK, who's with Inevitable Web Design. No, I'm forgetting the name. Anyways, this
almost inevitable.
Thank you. I knew I was saying it wrong. Almost inevitable. And I'm going to throw this, if you can see this on my screen here. These are useful media queries that he gave me. So sometimes you need to, I don't know, change items based on sizing, right? So he's got this one, let's say, all the mobile devices. So anything that's below a max width of 1024, and you put your custom code in here, like H1, whatever your code would be. I have found this to be extremely helpful. So I threw it up on my Google Drive and shared the link. So if you guys want this, it's literally just a notepad document. Feel free to copy that link and get that. I didn't make it. I got it from someone else. I couldn't find the page I got it from, but he was my guy. So
you will need to share, give us access.
oh, bummer. Okay. I will share. Anyone with the link. Can you try that again for me and see if that worked? Or maybe I have to send the link again.
I think you have to recreate the link.
Do
It's
I?
going to be a different link with different rights.
Thank
It's not
you.
working.
New link. Okay, thank you guys for being so patient with me. I'm so grateful for that.
Oh, this is so cool.
You're
So I
doing an
think-
amazing job. It's really informative.
Wonderful. So I'm going to give you one more about a menu. So let me get off this page. And then I'm going to be quiet and we're going to turn it back to you guys. I just want to show you one more that I use all the time. Okay. So if you take a look on this page, I've just thrown another fake menu on here. And you see that when you do your default Divi menu, it wants to go horizontal, right? But how many times we want the menu to go vertical, right? We want it to stay vertical. Sometimes it's in your Divi, your footer menu, right? Or maybe it's going to be on a side menu, sidebar menu. Anyway, if you want it to go and stay vertical, this is where I love Divi Lover, Anya.
Excuse me.
And okay, so with hers, again, it's literally just copying and pasting code. Okay, so you're going in, you're giving it a class, and for her, she labeled hers, and again, you can change it, but I like to stick with what they've done. So DL/V/menu. You're literally just pasting that code here. Go ahead and hit save. Save out of this page. That's all you have to do on this page. And then we're going to jump over to our custom CSS. I'm literally copying and pasting code from her tutorial. Okay. So this is what it is. So this display block is making it go on its own line. Okay. And then display none is going to make sure that that hamburger menu doesn't appear when we go on the mobile. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that. One thing I love about these tutorials is literally copying and pasting their code that they created, and I don't have to make it up. So I'm going to exit out of here so we can see the live page. And as you can see, it's now vertical. And once I go, let's say, oh, I didn't want to do that one. Sorry, guys. If I go onto my phone, there it is. It's still vertical. Again, if I had to figure out how to do that on my own, it would take me too long. So Google is my best friend. So again, nothing too complex that we went into today. Let me take off my screen share for now, just so we can kind of chat here. But these are all things that I found to be super useful that I was doing over and over and over again. And like I said, I bookmarked my tutorials. I remember who I got it from, and I didn't want to make, I wanted to make it easier for you guys. So first thing I'll do is say, did you have any questions? I know I kind of went fast over some things. Any questions real quick about what we spoke about today? No? Wonderful. Like I said, I did record today's meeting. I will find a way to share that so you guys can refer back to these types of meetings in the future and find a way to share these resources that we're speaking about. On that note, I just want to talk about future Divi meetups for Divi Toronto. So next week, what we're focusing on is Divi resources. So like I said, you know, PA Creative, Josh Hall, Divi Lover, like there are so many people in the community who are sharing free tutorials, free resources. We're going to talk about that all next week, next month. And then was anyone here for Divi Toronto last year or the year before when Christina was hosting? Anyone attend any of those? No? Okay, that's okay, because either did I. But Christina is going to be joining us next month. She is actually a blog writer for Elegant Themes right now. So that's a new job that she's taken on. So she's going to be sharing with us Elegant Themes blog and how we can use that as a resource, because it has a lot of freebies, walkthrough tutorials, all of that good stuff. And then we're also going to be sharing your resources. So I'll list my favorites, like I've mentioned today: PA Creative, Divi Lover, list goes on. But I challenge all of you to come with like one or two, your go-to Divi resource. And if it hadn't been shared yet, I invite you to share it with us, because I want to be bookmarking all the Divi resources next month. So that would be my only homework for you guys, is let's share links. And any cool tools that you use, like I would love to, if you want to send me a message about what we've talked about or any cool tools that I should be mentioning to the team or to the meetup group, I would love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to shoot me an email through Meetup. That would be awesome. And then, like I said, sneak peek into May, we will have Nelson Miller from PA Creative, aka the Divi teacher. He will be giving us a walkthrough of one of his websites that he's created using custom post types, advanced custom fields. So that one will be a little more on the intermediate topics. Beginners are more than welcome, because it'll give you a glance into what's possible with Divi and dynamic content. So I welcome all of you guys to come out to those as well. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for coming out today. I had a great time chatting with you. Really look forward to continuing this month by month and see how it goes. So any questions before we hop off for the night?
No, thank you though. It's really
Okay.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I thank you guys for sharing the last hour with me, and I'll see you all next month.
Thank you,
Okay,
Susie.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.